Hey everyone, welcome back to Echo Your English. I'm Emily.
And I'm Ryan. We're really glad you're here with us today.
Today's topic is a quiet one, but a very important one. We're talking about how to say you're sad in English without actually saying the words, I'm sad.
Yeah, because in real life, people don't always say that directly. Most of the time, sadness comes out in softer, indirect ways.
Exactly. And if you're learning English, this can feel confusing. You might hear native speakers talk about their feelings, but they never use the word sad. And you're left thinking, wait, are they okay or not?
So today, we're going to talk the way real people talk. No big emotional speeches, just honest, everyday English.
Let's start with something very common. Imagine someone asks you, how are you? And instead of saying, I'm sad, you say something like, I'm just not feeling myself today.
That's a great one. I'm not feeling myself is a gentle way to say something is off inside you. You're not sick exactly, you're not angry, you're just not okay.
And notice the word just there. People often say, I'm just not feeling myself. It makes the sentence sound softer, less dramatic.
Another very natural phrase is I feel a bit low today. Not very low, not extremely sad, just low.
Right. A bit low sounds calm and honest. It's something you might say at work or to a friend or even to someone you don't know very well.
And sometimes people say I'm a little drained. This one is interesting because it's about energy, not emotions, but it still tells people you're not in a great place.
When you say you're drained, it feels like you've given too much or life has taken too much from you recently.
Yeah, and there's another phrase I hear all the time. It's been a lot lately.
Oh, that one carries so much meaning. You don't explain anything, but people understand.
Exactly. You're not saying what happened, you're not saying you're sad, but you're opening a small door.
And often, that's all we want, to be understood without having to explain everything.
That's such an important part of emotional English. You don't always need big words. You need the right tone and simple phrases.
In the next part, we'll talk about how sadness shows up in stories and small comments, things people say almost without realizing it.
And we'll also share a few moments from our own lives because this topic is very human.
Stay with us, take a deep breath, and listen gently. So let's talk about something that happens a lot. People don't always say how they feel directly. Instead, they tell small stories.
Yeah, and those stories might sound normal on the surface, but there's something quiet underneath.
For example, someone might say, I didn't really sleep well last night. On its own, it sounds simple, but often it's not just about sleep.
Right. Poor sleep is sometimes a sign that your mind is heavy. You're thinking too much or worrying or feeling something you haven't named yet.
Another one I hear often is, I've just been keeping to myself lately.
That's a big one. When someone says that, they're not saying they're lonely, but they might be pulling away a little.
And notice how gentle that sentence is. Keeping to myself. It sounds peaceful, but it can also mean someone is protecting their feelings.
People also say things like, I don't really have the energy for much these days.
That sentence says a lot without saying too much. It doesn't ask for attention, but it invites understanding.
Exactly. And these are the kinds of sentences you'll hear in real conversations, at work, with friends, even in messages.
There's also something interesting about the word fine. When someone says, I'm fine, slowly or quietly, it doesn't always mean they're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine can mean many things in English. Sometimes it means okay. Sometimes it means I don't want to talk about it.
And sometimes, I'm fine really means I'm holding myself together right now.
Another phrase that's very common is I've had better days.
I love that one. It's honest, but light. It acknowledges sadness without going deep.
You might say it with a small smile. It tells the truth, but it doesn't make things uncomfortable.
And that's something to remember. In English, people often try to protect the mood of the conversation.
So instead of saying, I'm really sad, they soften it. They make it easier for the other person to respond.
That's cultural, but it's also emotional. It's about safety.
Let's share something personal. There was a time when someone asked me how I was doing, and I said, I'm just taking things one day at a time.
That's such a meaningful sentence.
Yeah, it meant I wasn't okay, but I wasn't ready to explain why.
And people understood. They didn't push. They just nodded.
In the next part, let's talk about how tone, pauses, and small words change the feeling of a sentence.
Because sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Let's slow down a little and talk about tone. Because in English, the feeling often lives in the sound, not the sentence.
That's so true. You can say the same words in two different ways, and they can mean completely different things.
For example, think about the sentence, I'm okay. If you say it quickly with energy, it probably means you're actually okay.
But if you say it slowly, I'm okay, with a pause in the middle, it changes everything.
That pause is important. Pauses in English can say, there's more here, but I'm not saying it.
Another thing people do is add small words at the end of sentences, words like I guess, or kind of, or I suppose.
Yes, someone might say, I'm doing okay, I guess. That I guess softens the sentence and adds uncertainty.
It's like saying, I don't feel great, but I don't want to make it heavy.
You'll also hear people say, I don't know, I'm just a bit off today.
A bit off is such a natural phrase. It's vague, but everyone understands it.
And it's safe. You can say it to a colleague, a classmate, even someone you don't know well.
There's also body language, even though people can't see it on a podcast, but you hear it in the voice. A softer voice, slower speed.
Sometimes even a small sigh before a sentence tells you a lot.
Yeah, like when someone says, yeah, it's been one of those weeks.
That sentence carries tiredness, frustration, and maybe sadness all together.
And the listener usually responds gently. They might say, I get that, or yeah, those weeks happen.
That's another important point. When you speak about sadness softly, people often respond softly too.
It creates a kind of emotional balance.
I remember a time when I didn't want to explain how I felt, so I said, I'm just trying to stay positive.
That's interesting because it sounds hopeful, but it also suggests something is difficult.
Exactly. It was my way of saying, things aren't easy, but I'm coping.
And coping is a big word in emotional English. If someone says, I'm managing, it often means they're not great, but they're surviving.
These phrases don't demand sympathy. They simply invite understanding.
And for English learners, using these sentences can feel more natural than saying, I am sad.
We'll also talk about how to respond when someone else speaks this way and what you can say back.
Because listening is just as important as speaking.
So now let's talk about the other side of the conversation. What do you say when someone else is sad without saying they're sad?
This part really matters because many English learners worry about saying the wrong thing.
And the good news is you don't need perfect words. You just need gentle ones.
If someone says, I've just been really tired lately, you don't have to solve anything.
You can simply say, yeah, that sounds tough. Or, I'm sorry, that can't be easy.
Those responses are simple, but they show you're listening.
Another very natural reply is, I get that. Or, I know what you mean.
Even if you don't fully understand their situation, these phrases show empathy, not advice.
And sometimes silence is okay too. A short pause followed by, I'm here if you want to talk.
That sentence is powerful because it gives the other person control.
Exactly. You're not pushing them to explain. You're just opening the space.
I think that's why English often sounds indirect with emotions. It respects boundaries.
And if you're the one speaking, remember this. You don't owe anyone a full explanation of your feelings.
Saying, I'm just taking things slowly right now, is enough.
Or, I've got a lot on my mind these days.
These phrases are honest, human, and very natural.
If you're listening to this and thinking, I feel this way, but I don't know how to say it, that's okay.
You can start small. You don't need big emotional sentences.
English isn't about sounding dramatic. It's about sounding real.
And sometimes real sounds quiet.
So if today you're not feeling yourself, if you're a bit low or just tired in a deeper way,
Know that there are gentle ways to say it, and there are people who will understand.
take one or two phrases from today and try using them this week.
Maybe in a message, maybe in a conversation, or maybe just notice when others use them.
Listening is learning too.
That's all for today. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with us.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Echo Your English.
We are here to help you learn English the human way.
Take care of yourself, and we'll talk again soon.
Bye for now.